We have some breaking news coming out of the financial world tonight. You know all that excitement around artificial intelligence? Well, it's reached a boiling point, and Wall Street is sending up a major warning flare. We're getting signals of a potential bubble that could have some really massive consequences. So, let's just dive right into the heart of it. This is the big question on every single investor's mind right now, whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just getting into the market. Is this incredible surge we're seeing in AI stocks the real deal, or are we all standing on the edge of a cliff?
First up, let's talk about where this alarm is coming from. Look, this isn't just some idle chatter on the internet. We're talking about direct warnings coming straight from the source, Wall Street, the very heart of the market.
And here it is, a direct quote from analysts on the street. We are in the middle of a massive market bubble. I mean, it doesn't get much clearer than that. The language here is so blunt, and it signals a very real concern that just cuts right through all that excitement and those record-breaking headlines we've been seeing. You can feel the excitement, right? It's absolutely everywhere. But that fever pitch is creating a super risky environment. Analysts are worried it's building up the perfect conditions for what they call a tech wreck, and that's a phrase that should send a shiver down your spine if you remember any of the past market downturns.
Okay, so what's actually driving all this alarm? Let's break it down and look at the specific red flags that have all the experts on such high alert.
When you lay out the evidence, it looks like the classic recipe for a market bubble. You've got valuations that are just skyrocketing into the stratosphere. That's being driven by this powerful fear of missing out, FOMO. And here's the really crucial part. The hype is just so far ahead of what these companies are actually making in profits. It's creating this speculative mood that analysts are calling completely unsustainable. And we are not talking about small gains here, not at all. To give you some perspective on these valuations, a lot of stocks connected to AI have doubled. Some have even tripled their value in a ridiculously short amount of time. And that kind of explosive growth, that is precisely what makes the experts so nervous. So here's the bottom line, the part that really matters. Who gets hurt if this whole thing bursts? A major market correction, which is what analysts are afraid of, isn't just going to sting the big hedge funds. No, it's going to hit everyday retail investors. People like you and me, the absolute hardest. Now, if this is all starting to feel a little familiar, it should. What's happening right now is drawing some direct and, frankly, pretty unnerving comparisons to a huge financial event from just about 20 years ago.
I mean, just look at this side-by-side comparison. It's striking, isn't it? The market drivers are identical, pure investor frenzy, and that powerful fear of missing out. The valuations in both periods, sky high. And, maybe most importantly, the hype is just blowing past the reality of the profits. The parallels to the dot-com bust, well, they're pretty much impossible to ignore.
And analysts actually have a name for what's happening now. They're calling it a baby bubble. The idea here is that it might not be the entire market that's in a bubble, but that the gains are dangerously concentrated in just a few top tech stocks. It's like a bubble inside the bigger system. And just look at this chart of the S&P 500's gains to see this baby bubble in action. It's incredible. A staggering 75% of the entire market's growth is coming from a teeny tiny handful of top tech companies, almost all of them tied to AI. And the other 490 plus companies in the index? They're left scrambling for the remaining 25%. This shows you just how concentrated and, frankly, lopsided this rally really is.
So all of this leads us to the biggest question of all. What does it mean for the future? Are we watching a true revolution, a dangerous bubble, or maybe both at the same time? And let's be absolutely crystal clear about something. Nobody is denying the power of the technology itself. The AI revolution is 100% real. The long-term potential for it to change our world is undeniable. So the debate isn't really about the tech. It's about the timing and the price people are paying for it.
Which leaves us right here. Is the market's excitement just getting way ahead of the reality on the ground? And is that gap between the hype and the reality setting us all up for a really painful burst? That, my friends, is the billion-dollar question that, right now, not even the experts can answer. I guess only time will tell.